Welcome to the Business of You podcast, the show dedicated to helping service entrepreneurs build a better brand to grow a bigger business. I'm your host, Michelle Griffin, and I'm here each week empowering you to put yourself out there, sharing actionable tips and inspiring stories so you can create your personal brand, grow your dream business, and build your future, all while making more income and more impact doing exactly what you love. I'm super excited you're here. Now let's get going with today's show. Welcome today to another episode of The Business of You. I'm your host, Michelle Griffin, and I'm super excited you're here. Today, we're going to do a training about the 7 steps you need to stand out with your professional personal brand. In fact, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. This is the steps, the 7 steps, the blueprint I call my visible brand authority. It's what I use with all my clients to help them go from confused and stuck, not really sure of how they should stand out, to really clear and confident. And it's something I've shared on other podcasts, on LinkedIn Lives, but never my own show. So today I thought I am going to walk us through an overview of exactly the 7 steps and what you should be looking for if you want to start building your professional personal brand. I always say it gives you the clarity, the structure, the positioning, the focus, and the momentum if you do this in the steps that I'm about to teach you. In fact, I call it the 4 areas where I help you discover it, define it, differentiate it, and develop it. Because as you know, growing your brand is not a one and done thing. It is something you have to start, hopefully today, hopefully soon, and just keep putting yourself out there and keep doing the strategic foundational things to grow it. So if you're ready, let's dive in as I walk you through my 7 steps on the visible brand authority blueprint. So here we go. So the first one is your perspective. This is where you find your internal meaning, your clarity to know what your visions, your goals. I do it with your personality, your personal views, beliefs, and your professional views, beliefs, and your experience. This is where we get the basis of what I call the golden thread, where we find all the things that make you uniquely you, couple it with your background, your expertise, to form your backstory, your personal and professional why. In fact, when I work with my clients, this is where I start seeing the notice of the golden thread, because we all want to stand out and stand for something. And having a perspective and a point of view really helps define and differentiate you as a professional and an entrepreneur. Now, the second step to get to is the people. Now, if you're in marketing and branding, you know, we're not supposed to help everyone, right? We're supposed to help someone. So the word people might be a little bit confusing. Well, the way I look at brand building is there's 2 different parts of your people. It's your ideal audience, your ideal client, or your persona. That is the person that you show up to help and solve a problem. But I also call your people your community, and more importantly, your partners, the sister businesses, the sister peers and professionals, someone you can work with that's going to help you to keep growing you, your brand, your community. We can't grow our brands alone. So not only serving the audiences we're here to serve, but also building rapport and communication and connection with like-minded people, organizations, industry partners. All those are going to form your community, and that will completely help you. And that's something I do and noticed. And last year on LinkedIn, I started building a community, and I see it just snowball every day. And of course, you're showing up for these people to help them with a problem and help them grow. The third phase is probably one of my most favorite phases, and I love doing this. And this is your positioning. This is differentiating you with the problem you solve and the promise you make for your personal story and your brand. This is where you show up, and I always make sure you have a way to. No matter what, there might be thousands of people who do what you do, but when you are defined and positioned with the unique ways that your perspective brought out and the deep dive on your ideal audiences, we find a way to help you stand out, to position you in the market. So you are the go-to top of mind of choice because you have differentiation. People know exactly why they should do business with you. So this is probably one of the most important parts that I see so many people lack. The ideal differentiation, that golden thread that stands out, that makes you unique and makes you the only choice for the people you help. Now, after you're well positioned, I like to get to what I call packaging. Now, I once read an article from several years ago about the case of personal branding being really superficial. I'll actually link in the show notes to it. It was a quote by Sheryl Sandberg about people shouldn't package themselves, right? And the way she was defining packaging, I completely agree. Her take, and mostly was geared to Instagram influencers who are just packaging a false narcissistic promotional them, a fake them. I get that. That's exactly what you should not be doing when you build your personal brand. It's completely a genuine you, who you are in person, online, offline, all the same. But when I call packaging, when I use the word package in my process, it's about setting you up, putting you on the platform with your platform, your website, your social profiles, any processes or intellectual property or branded assets that you have that really help and come from the positioning stage on how you stand out, your point of view and perspective. The ultimate is having a branded, website and a process, or like my blueprint. That is a packaging, right? That is what's helping me set myself apart, is having a 7-step process. And also, any offers you have, you need to have offers, your services. So when people want to come to you, you have complete clarity on that whole journey. And of course, you need assets and channels to communicate all this. So packaging is a really fun part, actually. After we get through the first 3 phases of your positioning, packaging, it's where the fun begins. It's taking the real you and getting you out there and across the board, making sure everything is completely unified and aligned. Now, one of the areas between positioning and packaging is when I work with my bigger program is we work on our client-facing messaging. I cannot tell you how important messaging is to your brand and to your business. And when you do have that foundational strategy in place that we work on, the client-facing messaging, the knowing and understanding exactly what your ideal audience thinks, the way they talk and act, that just makes messaging so much easier, so much relatable. In fact, on your website or whatever you're communicating with, you want people to read your content, read your messaging, and just shake their head in agreement. Wow, that's me. I get it. And almost actually be excited because they have found that person who understands them. And that's where you start the relationship. So packaging is probably a big part of what I do in the 7 steps. And, having a website, if you're building your brand as a professional or as a service entrepreneur, we all can have our own stake in the ground, right? Social media is amazing to go find our like-minded people, but we always want to have our own platform, our own slice and presence on the internet. And good for us, technology has made it so affordable and easy to have your own website, right? It's almost like if you don't have a website, landing page, or one-page presence of your own, is it even legitimate? Now, please don't knock at me if you don't. I encourage you. There are places like CARD.co. There's Squarespace, there's Ghost, there's Wix, there's WordPress. There's so many platforms now that make it so affordable to get something out very quickly. Okay. So I do encourage you to have social profiles, but your own platform, and then having content, which ironically is publish, is number 5 on this sequence. This blueprint publishing doesn't come until the first 4. I'll have people come to me wanting me to help them with LinkedIn and content, especially. And I I say, well, I would love to help you, but we need to back up a couple steps and find out what's really about you, the people, the problem, all the things. And then we can translate that into publishing. In this day and age, if you want to get out and build your brand, your thought leadership, your professional presence, publishing is the way. Now, it can be audio, it can be written, it can be video. We have so many options and opportunities, again, making it really simple and really affordable and low cost. And that should be best on where your client, your ideal audience is, what you like to do, and where they are. Now, I really suggest that we pick one lane, right? One content area, one platform rather, that you really get good on. Get really all in. Don't split your time and efforts trying to be everywhere. Find where your ideal audience is, ultimately, where you like to be, and you can maintain it and go all in. Now, I spend every single day on LinkedIn, and I have built my business and my brand there, and I'm still doing it, but I went all in on LinkedIn. I did try to start a little bit on Instagram and found it really hard. Had a presence on Twitter, but don't seem to use that. I do say, I guess my secondary this past year has been Clubhouse, where, I had a personal branding mastery show for 6 months. And now I'm weekly modding in LinkedIn mastery for, 9 months or so. And I do love social audio. So that can be a part of your strategy too. There's Medium, there's all these areas you can do newsletters. There's so many technologies like Review and Substack, all these places where you can become an author and it will help you be seen to an audience. LinkedIn is a prime place if you're in the professional B2B space. That is usually the go-to and where I work the most. But publishing rather, is so important to have a strategic content schedule that's doable for you. Content themes is what I really, really recommend. So you can start building that awareness if you're just getting out and continue to build the visibility, your thought leadership, which leads to trust. Trust is obviously the ultimate currency to build our brands and our businesses and stay online. Ultimately, we all want to know that we can be trusted. So I can't stress enough how important publishing is. When I work with my clients, I always recommend, let's find one social channel that you're super comfortable with. Some even do YouTube, and that's good, but LinkedIn is usually the go-to I work with my clients. But then I find ways to, let's have a social one and let's have your own. That might be a newsletter, that might be a podcast, even having a strategy about speaking, Zoom calls, that's all creating content. So you find what works for you, but you constantly show up and do it consistently. And here's the tidbit. The more you do it consistently and stay in the game, the easier it becomes, the more clarity and confidence you get, and the ideas just flow. That's the most ironic thing. When I resisted getting on LinkedIn for all of 2020 and then went every day in 2021, I was amazed early on. I just started thinking in terms of post ideas. So that's a nice little gift. When you get out there and consistent, your brain just starts firing and the ideas flow. And then you get feedback and comments, and those just turn into more ideas. So having a publishing schedule and system and themes and consistency that works and is doable for you is the most important part of content marketing. Now, we're getting toward the end of this blueprint. And one of the things is that it kind of keeps building up. So number 6 is what I call promote, where you stay consistently visible on social, and then you build up authority building media opportunities. This is the stage when you're getting comfortable in your brand, your awareness and visibility and credibility keeps growing, but you want to constantly keep building and growing. So we might look for opportunities to start having a specific guest scheduling to be another podcast. We might even start your podcast. We might look for ways to guest blog. We might even look for ways to be a contributor to get media mentions in larger publications. Now, for the most part, It's so good to have a stair step model on your media, like start with local and just keep building up, building up. But heck, these days, there's so much online material out there. It is getting fairly easier to get these mentions, but this is something that usually I always tell my clients, it's very, very hard to, just saying I want to build my brand and business and to say I'm going to be on Good Morning America by the end of the year, unless you do something amazing. We have to keep growing that ladder, keep growing the stuff, working, refining it. But doing that, it just builds on one another. So getting on podcasts, you're going to be invited to more podcasts. Having your own show, you will be given and asked to have people stay on your show and talk on your show. I'm seeing this already on mine, and it's just a few months old. So building that authority, being offered and invited to speak is another way. You want to just keep building it. So I have a really great system when I work with my clients. We start off the bat having some topic ideas that just really hone into your ideal audience that work for podcasting, for media, for publications, for speaking. When you know exactly who you are, the message you bring, your point of view, and stand out with that, and exactly how you're going to help the audience that you're serving, you have clarity. In fact, I'm already getting pitched on this show. People just say, I want to be in your podcast. And I've read this so many times, but it's so true. If you want to be in a podcast, and I work with my clients, we have a pitch template and everything, you need to show up on how you can give value, to the person you guest with. So always be of service and you will go so far. It's just the best way to be when you build your brand. But promotion and keep growing and amplifying your authority is going to just keep rising your star, as I say. So promote is huge. So as you do that, you're getting to what I call the seventh stage, is the propel stage. This is the fantastic part where your brand is just in its flow. You're succeeding in scaling it by paying it forward, showcasing results to, accelerate your reach, your credibility, your visibility, and you just see those constant opportunities because you're trusted, you're known, you're noticed, right? And you're paying it forward because at brand this day is all about the connection and the trust. And you keep doing that by helping others. And then one area I didn't even talk about is the social proof, right? That is very much something I work on with my clients. We have testimonials, we have case studies, we keep pushing it forward internally and externally with the results to keep accelerating and growing it. So when I work with my clients, I do a lot of coaching and strategizing, advising. My job to you is to give you all the 7 steps, teach you, how to do it. And, if you want to have someone help you, you can, outreach that too. But you as a fundamental professional or entrepreneur know exactly what it takes, the branding, the strategy, the foundation, and the implementation to get out there and to keep building the brand. Now, I know I gave you a really high level view today, but I just wanted to put it out there because I am here if you want to book a call with me and just kind of tell me more about your brand. But this is something you can do on your own. I mean, yes, I've given you high level, but you can take these 7 steps and just constantly start at the beginning and just keep working, keep knocking it off and knowing it's a very frequent thing building your brand. It's fun. I mean, you are growing something, you are showing up as you to help and make a difference, make an impact, right? Being a professional in your own corporate space or as an entrepreneur in your own business. Either way, you can still do this and still make an impact. So today, I hope you got some insights on the 7-step visible brand authority blueprint. It's all about, clarity is so important. And it just kills me when I have calls with prospective clients, and the number one thing they struggle with is a lack of clarity, a lack of positioning, and sometimes structure momentum, right? So I know this works because it's worked on so many of my clients, but I know that you can do some of this on your own. So here's to getting yourself out there. Here is to building your brand, to getting out there with that message, your expertise, the things that light you up that can help other people. So as always, reach out to me on LinkedIn, reach out to me on my website, email. I'm here to help you put yourself out there and grow your professional brand. So until next week, thank you so much for listening. I would be so honored if you could give this podcast a review, subscribe to know when all the episodes drop. And if you have a great topic or speaker you know would be a valuable resource to help other professionals and entrepreneurs build their brand, I'd love to hear from you. So if you'd like more, please go to yourbrandyourbusiness.com. And until then, keep putting yourself out there. You have a brand and business to grow. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in today. You know, we definitely need more impactful entrepreneurs like you out there. So if you'd like to learn more about how I can help you build your personal brand to grow your business, please check out yourbrandyourbusiness.com. And until next time, you have a brand to build, a message to share, and people to impact. Now go put yourself out there and watch the business of you grow.